if you go to the gym, you're probably a really bad degenerate. Now, I know I stirred up some emotions in that title, but what do I mean by that? So, earlier today, I was talking with my friend, right? And there's some other people who go, like, in my class or in my year, they also go to the gym. And this guy, he doesn't really go to the gym, but then he was telling me, this guy, I'm just gonna call him Adonis, okay? I'm just gonna call him Adonis. This guy, Adonis, I saw this guy like a video, okay? This other guy telling me the story. I saw this guy, he liked this video, Adonis liked the video, and it was David Goggins something, oh, I don't scroll, I don't know, some type of motivational Instagram reel, something saying, I don't scroll, I don't, I do all the, I do all the discipline shit. And I'm like, bro, you're scrolling. You're scrolling. Just because this guy goes to the gym, he's disciplined in the gym, I guess, and I wouldn't say he's like, I think he's the type of guy who goes to the gym that half-ass it, Okay, the training he doesn't half-ass probably, and nutrition he gets down probably the bare minimum, but then I bet he gets, well, guaranteed he gets 6 hours of sleep a night, and on the weekends he's doing some bullshit, just scrolling away on his fucking phone when he's going to bed. Now, if you go to the gym, that doesn't mean you're disciplined. Sure, you keep some aspects of your life under control, but I guarantee you, if the gym isn't there, you're not disciplined. Now, I'm not just making the video because today that happened. No, it was because I was the exact same, right? I would also watch these Instagram reels of David Goggins say, stay hard, and then, some other bullshit of stoicism and don't give up. I would like all these reels thinking I'm the most disciplined motherfucker. Bro, I'm scrolling for hours thinking I'm disciplined. Does that make sense? You scroll, you like these motivational reels or TikToks that talk about discipline and stoicism when you're sitting down in your bed, probably butt naked, eating bullshit that gets your protein goal, and scrolling. That doesn't make sense. And you're probably doing that while you're in the gym. I hate these guys who scroll when they're in the gym. Bro, the only reason you have your phone when you're in the gym is to put on music or take pictures. That's it. When you're doing your sets, you either stand in the distance just staring, just staring, or you pace. You walk around in circles like a dickhead. We're getting the dopamine through the exercise. We're not trying to satisfy ourselves while scrolling midst, in between sets. Now, I was the exact same. I would like these motivational TikToks and reels. To be fair, I deleted TikTok thinking I was, I'm different, I'm disciplined, and then I just go in Insta and I scroll. Great job. You just switch from TikTok to Insta. I would argue that's way worse, bro. I mean, if you scrolled on Insta Reels before, you do, alright? That's not even a question. You know that Insta Reels is really bad when it comes to brain rot, bro. It's fucking racist, it has some bullshit, right? The average Insta Reel is Hitler, but he looks like Michael Jackson. Bro, that reel's always in my head. It's just it's Michael Jackson, but with the haircut of Hitler and the mustache. So much brain rot, right? And this phase where I was disciplined but just still scrolled, and the only thing disciplined I did was eat somewhat right. I didn't look at my sleep at all, right? Sleep is so important when it comes to the gym. Trust me, it'll change. If you actually take care of your sleep, you will break past those plateaus and those days where you don't progress in the gym, right? you know, I took training seriously, nutrition kind of seriously, and then need to sleep not at all, right? And then I got injured. I partially tore my tricep tendon, and bro, my average day was scrolling on TikTok. I didn't study at that point, right? I gave up on studying because gym. Okay, to be fair, gym takes a lot of time. Bro, when I have to go to the gym, I have to take a bus that takes 40 minutes to get to the gym, obviously back as well, so that's like half an hour already, just by taking buses and then training as well. So I would leave at probably 4 p.m. No, like 3 p.m. Get home at like 7:45. So yeah, to be fair, yeah, okay, but I just realized how fucking degenerate my life was. I would also have fun on the weekends, you know, I'd go drink, not every weekend, probably like every third weekend. That's obviously still really bad, especially when you're going to the gym. I would take the excuse, okay, I went to the gym, and I can go out and have fun. But that was basically my whole life now. No gym, but having fun. And bro, I just took a good look at myself and I was like, bro, you said you wanted to become a content creator. You said you wanted this, you said you wanted that, but bro, you're not doing shit. So I just took the step and I said, okay, I'm not going to the gym, but we still need to be disciplined. So then I started getting into books, self-help books. And I was like, the first book I read, of course, David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. But as soon as I read the first few pages, I just like, my whole mindset changed. I swear to God, that book is high quality. It's high quality. The thing is, Can't Hurt Me is not really a self-help book. It's just a story of David Goggins, right? I mean, sure, the information he gives in the book is quite useful, I guess. But, you know, you probably already did that if you bought a self-help book, to be honest. But the story is really inspirational. I recommend you get that book. So then I actually started taking my self-improvement habits really seriously. You see, before I was kind of doing it. I'd maybe meditate every third day, journal every fourth, and, you know, all that bullshit. But now I was doing it every day. You know, I had to take the anger because I was injured, right? Trust me, once you get your first injury in the gym, you'll guarantee you'll get it, right? At some point, bro, you're gonna be so angry. You're thinking your life is gonna be worse than a fucking refugee from Palestine or from whatever war, right? You're gonna think your life is worse than theirs. Because gym is all you have, right? Gym is all you have. And I started taking things really seriously with self-improvement. And I actually became disciplined. You see, gym, it does build discipline. But the thing I learned from David Goggins as well is, this is his philosophy. When you go to the gym, all you're doing is training a stronger and faster quitter. And I totally agree with that. The thing is, when I couldn't go to the gym, I was a quitter. I didn't do anything except for degeneracy. I stopped journaling completely. I stopped meditating. I stopped everything because I thought I was the victim. You know, there's no point in anything anymore. I can't go to the gym. You know, I didn't take care of my diet, didn't take care of my sleep. Like, what was the point? You know, if I didn't have a good diet, you know, if I couldn't go to the gym, what's the point of having a good diet? What's the point of doing, you know, good habits if I can't go to the gym? That's actually the reason why I started meditating and journaling, is because I thought my mental health was like really shit. See, I hit a plateau in the gym, right? And I was looking at tons of videos of how to break this plateau, and, you know, I realized mental health played a role in your gym progress. I was like, okay, yeah, gym progress, mental health, you know, let's improve the mental health. It's weird, bro. I mean, gym can motivate you to do good, but it can also cloud your judgment on who you really are. I was training a stronger and quicker degenerate. just because you go to the gym, it does not make you somehow, does not give you the excuse to do degeneracy, like partying on the weekends. And I'm not saying partying can't party, I still do that, but very, very, very rarely, like every third, fourth month, right? Of course, if it's a close friend and he has his birthday, okay, I'm gonna go, but I'm probably not gonna drink. Or I'll probably go, like, who knows, I'll probably go home at like 11 o'clock, you know? I'm still gonna go, you know, and I'm a friend. I have to respect that, right? So I get it. We all have different goals, you know. Not everybody wants to become a content creator on YouTube or an Insta. You know, you probably have something in mind. But the gym does not give you an excuse to do degeneracy, like scrolling, getting bad sleep, partying on the weekends. I know you built this physique because you want to have a good life. And you want to enjoy your life, of course. This is what I talk about in my previous video. You know, we have the season where we're disciplined, and then we have the fun seasons. But in order to have the fun seasons, you need to have the disciplined seasons. Of course, your disciplined seasons have to be fun with what you do in the gym, or, you know, really just what you're doing as a disciplined thing, right? As a disciplined habit. I want you to take a good look at yourself. You know, without the gym, how disciplined are you? The gym definitely plays a very big role in your discipline, but I would argue it's only like a third. Maybe not even a third. Probably like 30%, right? A third is 33%, but whatever, we're just gonna say 30%. What builds discipline is going towards your true goals. Like having a good physique is definitely a thing that every man should have when it comes to being a disciplined and successful man. But okay, unless you're planning to become a bodybuilder, like I would consider myself a bodybuilder, but I'm not going to go pro. I don't have the genetics, I don't have this, and you most likely don't as well. If you're not planning to become a bodybuilder, you know, you need to look at something else. And I knew from the time I discovered self-improvement, I wanted to become a content creator. The thing is, I didn't work towards it. I thought one day, you know, the stars would line up and I would start content creating. Sure, of course, you know, when you make content, you know, you want to have a physique, you know, assuming you want to base your content around discipline or this, or you need to become successful in the thing that you're wanting to post about. Assuming you're doing educational content creation, maybe you want to do entertainment shit, which is brain rot really. But, you know, whatever makes you money, right? You need still to make money in this world. Really just look at your life. What would it be without the gym? If you can answer and say, okay, my life is still disciplined, I still do this, I still do that, I still study, you know, if you want to go to college or what, yeah. Or, you know, you do your self-help books, you do your side hustle, you're working on it, you start learning before you actually start. You should learn before you start. You know, everybody says take action, but you know, what's the point in taking action if I don't know what I'm doing? This is what I did when I was reading the self-help books. I knew I wanted to become a self-improvement creator. But I also needed to know what it meant to be a self-help creator, and just a creator, and obviously all the smaller stuff like how to, you know, all that stuff, right? So you need to have, you know, obviously you need to learn first. I think we're getting off topic here, but please don't call yourself disciplined. It's an insult to this community, this self-improvement community. You definitely need to be in the gym or take care of your fitness when you're in self-improvement, right? Part of self-improvement. But self-improvement is not just fitness. It's not just the gym. It is meditation, mental health, actual consistency in everything, not just gym. So I know you're probably young, right? And you want to enjoy life, you want to fuck up bitch, you want to go to that party, you want to do this, you want to do that on the weekend. But really think, What am I doing with my life? Gym is definitely an important step, and probably the first step you should make. Okay, not gym, but fitness is probably the first step you should make when trying to improve your life. But also ask yourself, what else needs improving? Without the gym, if I didn't go to the gym, if gym didn't exist, if I already had the physique of my dreams, what would I be doing right now? What would I be doing? Okay, let's say that this physique, you already have it. It'll never disappear. You never have to train. You never have to do this again. What habits and what things would make me then disciplined? Because I don't need discipline for the gym anymore, because I don't need to go to the gym anymore. I have the most aesthetic physique, and I'll never lose that. And it's a hypothetical situation, right? What would make me disciplined if I already had the dream physique that I would never lose? Ask yourself that. Now, obviously, you can't answer this question in just a few seconds, but really, over the next, I would say the next few months, maybe not a few months, maybe like 3-4 weeks. Really ask yourself, what am I doing? What would I do if I didn't need to go to the gym anymore? What would make me disciplined? What would make me ambitious if gym wasn't necessary anymore, because I have my dream physique already? I know I will never lose it. Now, maybe you already have something in your mind. You maybe want to become a content creator. Maybe you want to, who knows, become a pro bodybuilder. that's a kind of a bad example if I, in this situation. But you want to do something, right? Answer that question and actually implement it with the gym, obviously. So I hope you learned that if you go to the gym, you're most likely not that disciplined. Start improving your mental health. Start actually doing ambitious goals that secure your future. I hope you learned something.